I'm thinking about playing e5, but that might weaken my center a little too much because of obviously c4 is going to hit. So maybe I just want to keep it like compact. But again, that restricts my bishop a little, and probably in an ideal world I'd play e5, but I don't know if that's the best idea here in the structure. So I think I'm just going to play bishop d7. And I've taken no central action. But c4 would also create a very exploitable hole on b4. For the past few moves, I could have played queen a5 check, picking up the a4 pawn, but I don't think that would have been worth it, because then he has knight. Maybe it would have been worth it actually, but I think I'm just going to play queen b6 to get my queen active and possibly force him to move a pawn and make a concession, but he could also defend with pieces. So my plan here will just be to bring the rook to the c-file and put pressure on those pawns. And perhaps I could play b5 in the future and try to create another target, but I isn't. But I think it has its queen b6 has a lot of positives as well, and it should be a good move. Okay, okay, yeah. So I just played rook c8, and I know my center is quite solid even after c4 or something, but c4 might force me to make a concession and actually just take the pawn, because otherwise I'd end up with a very weak isolated pawn on d5, which can sometimes be actually beneficial, but as a spearhead, I suppose, for an attack. But at the moment, since my pieces aren't really pointing at the king side, and there's no targets really on the queen side, I don't think my attack is going to be especially strong. On the plus side, after c4, his queen will definitely have to watch over that weak b3 pawn. And he'll have created a hole on b4. So maybe I can occupy that or somehow exploit it. Maybe with knight a5 attacking both pawns would be a good idea. But after knight a5 takes, knight takes. Okay, I think knight a5 works. Now he has to take my pawn, I think, on d5. And the c-file opens up completely, and I have a lot of pressure on that b3 pawn. And I think I will take with the knight, though, instead of the pawn, since, well, if I take with the pawn, then after bishop takes, queen takes, my pawn's gone. And maybe after that I can take the b3 pawn, but he has an in-between move. Yeah, he has the in-between move b4. Nah, that doesn't work. Maybe I can take with the pawn, I'm not quite sure. Because that pawn is also very weak. So I'm going to experiment and take with the pawn. I think this is the more dynamic move. It's the more active move. And it's a way to fight for an advantage, I think. Oh no, okay. I see the flaw in the plan, but I think I still recover the pawn because I thought he could play queen d5, hitting my bishop, but I play bishop e6, hitting the queen, and also indirectly hitting the b3 pawn. So that'll have not much defense at all. On the negative, okay. So this is an interesting move. I could just take it off, but that doesn't look especially attractive. I could also play a6 to kick the knight, but then it gets to a very nice blockading post on d4. And he's looking to play against my isolated pawn, and I should be looking to exploit I suppose, the dynamic play that comes with it. So a6, knight d4, and maybe I should just... Okay. I'm just going to overprotect my... not overprotect, but protect my d5 pawn. And while his pawn on b4 is... b3 is still weak, I don't have any move to directly exploit that at the moment. After he plays knight d4, I will have rook c3, which might become, I don't know, a threat in the future, because the rook's very active there, prepares the other rook to swing over to the open file. Okay, so I'm going to allow him to take the bishop pair if he wants, since he'd be exchanging a very good knight for that bishop and also unisolating my pawn. So I think just rook c3 should work, and trying to be active and exploit his weaknesses. And now I completely control the open file. And it's not going to be especially easy to wrest control of it from me. I think a6 here works because that bishop is blocking my queen's access to the weak b3 pawn. And it just, I want to keep the bishop out, basically. Yeah. Okay, so he plays b4. I can take that, takes the bishop, but after he takes with the pawn, that doesn't win a pawn. Oh, you don't have to give me more time, it's okay. So, I think I'm just going to put my knight to a nice post and pretty much force him to take it. So I could take with the pawn or with the rook here. And my rook might be a little bit stranded if I take with the pawn, but also I'm unisolating it. So I'm not sure which is better. I think... I think I'll take with the rook. Because if I take with the pawn, yeah, that's... Okay, I'm not going to have... I'm going to make a fewer comments because this is getting low on time. I'm just trying to pressurize the weakness. And he's defending. Now my bishop's not especially active. My bishop on... sorry, this looks a little bit stupid, but I'm just going to get it back so the bishop can, I don't know, have some more possibilities and possibly go somewhere like... not sure where the bishop wants to be. Okay. I'm going to play like this. And exchange off the dark square bishops. This does slightly weaken the squares around my isolated pawn, but I want to increase protection of it. So now I sink my knight into this very nice square. Okay, so he fixes the weakness on a dark square where it can't be attacked by the bishop, which is probably a good idea. But now, what do I have? I'm going to try and get both rooks active instead of just one, as was previously the case. But now he's getting a little bit of activity as well. So, okay, I might have to defend stuff here. And, okay, I'll just play here, defending the pawn. I've still got control of the open file, but his knight is a very, very strong piece in controlling the c2 square, so I can't quite infiltrate. Okay. He wants to exchange queens, but can't I just take this pawn? Since he left protection of it. Okay. Now my knight might not be consigned to a defensive role anymore, and he might have the possibility of actually getting active. Okay. He's trying to be tricky. Oh no, no, it's okay. Okay, I thought I blundered a fork, but I didn't. Because the knight's pinned to the queen. And now... Okay, actually this is annoying. I'm running short on time and ideas. I'm going to try and make a repetition, but I'm not sure if this is going to work. Okay, so it doesn't. That's alright though, because I am better, so I'm trying to just get my rook active. Oh my god, what am I doing? Okay, so accidental exchange sacrifice, I have a pawn for it. Let's try and get the queen in. Infiltrate. Now, although his rook can just come back and take control of the file. This is looking worse, but you know, I'm not dead yet, at least. I really don't want to exchange queens here because that's just easily winning. But I realize I'm giving up another pawn to do this. So that might, I don't know, that might be an even worse decision. But okay. Okay, now I'm just mated.
Wow, dude, it was pure violence. Let me create an analysis board here, but I can see that now you're thinking much more and you're making things harder for me to play, and that's really nice for you. So, okay, I just invited you to the study here, right? And here's the thing.
Yeah.
You're now saying things in a more confident way. That's really cool. And you're also thinking about what the other guy is thinking. That's extremely important. I do believe that that's an improvement which has given you a lot of better moves, actually. Because before you were so focused on yourself, then you couldn't see beyond that. And that's really cool that now you're seeing things that are happening on the board. So I hope you can hear me and that I am not cutting out. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
So I like that you said just a bad move here, a4. Yeah, it's kind of a bad move, but it is not so bad. Knight a3, just another bad move. That's really cool to say too. And now now c5, and things are starting to look a little bit odd for me in this position. So let me take a look here. Wait a sec. Okay. Now c takes, queen takes, knight c6. And here you said, well, I'm just going to finish my development, knight c6, taking advantage of the queen on d4. This is something that you'll see a lot in Scandinavians, and that's cool, because you're winning the tempo.
I said I wanted to control the e4 square here.
Exactly.
And to prevent the break e4. Because that would free you up.
Yeah. So basically here, this knight c6 is really good. You're stopping me from getting any ideas here with my queen on d4. And I see that you learned that from... I mean, like, we saw this, like, in a Scandinavian that we played d4, apparently, I do believe, where you never attack my queen on d5, and he said that was passive. Wow, dude, now you're actually attacking, that's cool. That's better. So knight f6, bishop g5, bishop e7, just finishing my development here. You said that you had like queen a5 check, taking on a4, but that's not true because I have c3. So if you play queen here check, after c3 I can defend my pawn with my queen, and everything is defended. But yeah, you have to consider this thing here, because you might have a pawn of advantage if actually this didn't work.
Very nicely colored arrows.
Exactly. I was kind of afraid of playing bishop g5, because I thought that there might be tricks with d4, and then these things here might be dangerous. But I thought that if I played bishop f4, even though I was controlling you from making e5, in the future you might castle, play rook e8, and then push e5 winning tempi. And I thought, nah, that doesn't seem nice for me. So I'm gonna play bishop g5, and I'm gonna keep
also your knight's just defending, doing a very nice job defending.
Yeah, it's everything going alright. Even though the knight on a3 seems horrible, it is not so bad, I guess, because I am still trying to push c4 at any moment.
Yeah.
So this is an idea that you'll see a lot, like when people play just knight f3 out of the first move. Often they play c4, knight a3 in order to take on c4 when the black pieces have taken on c4. So that's something that happened often.
Yeah.
So I didn't think this was too crazy. I thought it's kind of crazy, but not too much. So e3, h6, bishop h4. You said I want to give a little bit of space to my king. I think that's cool. A little bit of room so that you can flee if anything happens. That's nice. So bishop e2. I'm just finishing my development, and here you said, in this position exactly, I remember, you said, well, in my ideal position I play e5. But if I play e5, I might just leave this pawn on my center a little bit weak, and it will be a little bit hard to hold. That's more or less what you said. I'm just paraphrasing here, but I don't know. I still feel like e5 is something important in this position, and it's similar to the other game that we played before, that you played c3 instead of playing d4. Instead of playing c4, sorry, and you said I'm gonna play solid, and here in this position you also said I'm gonna play solid, and I do believe that in this position playing solid makes sense, but I also think that e5, I don't know, dude, I like e5. You said in my ideal position I'd like to do this. If you played e6, I don't know if I will play c4 directly, but this center becomes a little bit harder to play against. Let's say that I castle first because I don't want to get like too crazy yet. Castling here, and then you have more squares for your bishop. You can play like bishop e6, trying to get some counterplay here, and now you're not facing problems of getting an isolated queen's pawn, which might be annoying. And I do believe that this is quite playable, and also you're getting more activity.
I think it's
go out.
Actually.
Yeah, I mean, you do not necessarily have to take on c4, because if you do not take, then my knight remains on a3 kind of passive, so that might be nice. And also,
I thought I could play this and gain a lot of space, but this square would be a target.
Yeah, I could go there with my knight, but in this position, I don't know. I cannot play c4 apparently because you are taking here on a3, and if I take, then you can take here, and you're winning a pawn. So I cannot play c4.
You can. Look, takes. Then you have this in between move.
But I'm not sure, dude. I do not have this bishop takes b2.
Hitting the bishop.
And I already was going to lose it. I don't know. It's still really hard to see. I'm kind of.
Queen. I think you take with the queen here.
Maybe.
Actually, maybe.
Yeah, queen takes, rook takes, queen takes, rook takes. Yeah.
And then my knight.
Yeah. Kind of equalish, getting a little bit of advantage for you. So. Maybe here, well, another way to proceed e6 made sense, but I do still believe that I will have played e5 because I like to play more these kinds of position, and also I have to be really careful with these e4s, which might be annoying even though you have this square. So I still believe that e5 in general terms is like another possible idea. So bishop d7, now your bishop is kind of trapped with your pawn, but I do believe that you still have some ideas of taking advantage of this situation in the queen side, which makes sense. So castling, queen b6, and here I didn't want to play b3 because I thought b3 was kind of giving away too many dark squares, but I thought, what else do I have in this position? I don't want to play rook b1 because if I do so, then this pawn is kind of
c4.
Yeah, getting violent. I think c4 actually was something that I wanted to do, even though I was giving away the pawn. But in this position it doesn't work as in other positions where there is a poison pawn, because there is always this attack.
Can escape.
No, there's always this attack here on a3. So
Yeah.
if I give away the pawn, then suddenly your bishop, your queen on b2 and your bishop on e7 are kind of attacking my knight, and that's annoying, and that gives you time to get away with your queen. So that's
But
not
if we
nice.
go through this line, I think you can take here, and then you move your knight here.
Maybe I can take with my knight here in this position. Oh no, your pin here. No, that's not gonna fly. Wait a
Because
second
after
here.
this, you're hitting my knight, so
Yeah.
I can't really take on a3.
There are tactical
just
problems
have-
out of c4, right? Queen takes b2. I just did it because I didn't even analyze c4 because I just didn't want to give away the pawn. Just for the knight on this position, which seemed kind of trapped for me and not worth to do so. But now that we are analyzing it, it kind of makes sense, you know. I do believe that in the future you also had like a tactical way to win a rook, I believe, or something.
Did I?
Yeah, but you didn't see that. I saw that and I thought, whoa, he's gonna get a rook and I'm gonna be fucked. But yeah, I think in the future that you had the chance. So here's c4.
Okay.
The idea knight a5. I don't like this knight a5 though. Knight a5, I don't know, doesn't seem nice in my mind, because even though you're taking advantage of this pawn on b3 apparently, it is not so nice. Like your knight is going towards the side, and in the side I don't like to move my knight towards the side, and in this position I don't know if it's worth it. But
Maybe
I guess
I could just play.
I guess rook c7 or d takes c4, queen b4. I didn't consider that move, but I guess
I like it just blockades this kind of whole structure, so I can attack it more easily, I suppose.
yeah, but the problem is that your queen is not a good blockader, you know. Usually, the good blockader is your knight.
You just got knight c2.
Exactly. So I can attack your queen eventually. I guess maybe knight b4 or something, so that if I take on d5, then you can do the same maneuver that I did and put your knight on this square. This is actually something that you'll see a lot in isolated queens pawns, that people often move their knights to b4 to stop you from moving your pawn to d5, or just to defend the pawn on d5. This is something that's common, you know. And I was thinking that this might be some idea for you. So knight b4 makes sense, because I can get rid of the knight on b4. And you also said before, well, if he plays c4, then he's giving away the squares b4, and therefore I cannot try to exploit it. And I do believe that knight b4 in this position might be nice, with the idea of maybe after knight b4 consolidating the position of your knight with a5, for example, might be nice. And your knight here is actually
But I'm not
doing
sure
something.
actually what this knight does here, unless it can switch over to the center.
Yeah, actually
which
that's
won't
probably the
happen
idea.
here.
Yeah.
So it looks pretty, but it's not a very effective piece.
Yeah, but I do believe that it has some advantages. One of them is that, you know, the rook...
You're not blocking the rook.
Exactly. Is giving you some space.
Yeah.
And that's really cool, dude. I mean, I would rather to have this knight on b4 than having it on a5, if you ask me.
Yeah,
you know?
definitely.
So, knight b4, I do believe it's a better idea here, because, you know, this line is going to get open, eventually. There's no way from us to stop this line to get open in the future. And if your rook and your knight are kind of taking some space here, that might be annoying in the future. Because now see that if I move my knight somewhere, let's say, I don't know, d4, then you have some
This
pressure on
square will be open for a
c2.
rook.
Yeah, I mean, even then you won't have the square, but that might be something annoying to have here. Also, this knight is taking some squares, so it's something to think about. You're right when you say that this knight here looks pretty, but it's doing nothing. But I do still believe that it can do something in the future, and also you're stopping me from moving this pawn here, which is a backwards pawn. So at least you're fixing the debility. And in the future, rook c3 makes sense, also as you did before.
Yeah.
As you did, in the game. So c takes d5, pawn takes, and now your position is getting hard to play. You were thinking about knight takes, but that's not gonna fly for bishop takes. And then after you take with your knight, your bishop is hanging. So that's not gonna fly, even though it looks like...
I saw that.
Yeah, it's not gonna fly. So here you have to take with a pawn. There is nothing else to do, and see how your knight is out of the game, and suddenly this pawn here is a queen, an isolated queen's pawn. So you said that you need some dynamic compensation for having this pawn, and I agree with you. But this doesn't look dynamic in my mind. Like
Yeah, definitely.
that doesn't look
I
dynamic.
was trying
in my
to
mind.
get pressure in compensation for having
Yeah, I
succeed.
understand that, but I think it can kind of stop you easily with this knight b5 and then coming back. And
Mm,
now my knight, which seemed really silly all the game, suddenly in the move 15 or something will be in d4, and that's cool.
yeah.
So something to take into account. Knight b5, and now see how I'm just maneuvering here. You played bishop
Mm,
e6 because you said, well, I'm gonna defend, overprotect, you said, but
yeah.
I'm gonna defend on d5, and now see how I'm just getting into a really ideal position here in terms of
Mm.
what you need to do when you're playing against.
I should have done something like this and kind of tried to get
It's
your knights off the board.
well, if you do so, then what's the problem with that?
Well, you have another knight, but other than that, if I can get rid of both knights, that might be a good move. But
Okay, I can see two problems with that maneuver. The first problem is that you played this, and now you're going backwards,
yeah,
right? You're coming here to
so
then come
I'm
here.
I'm, I'm admitting that this move wasn't very good. But if the move isn't very good in the first place and the knight's doing nothing, then why not move it back?
That might be a good idea, but the problem also, if you try to take on d4, is that when you're playing with an isolated queen's pawn, you do not want to trade pieces, you know?
Yeah, that's true actually.
The problem with trading pieces is that if you do so, then you're helping me because you're getting into an endgame, and I am getting rid of your dynamic compensation.
Play. Also, this pawn's going to be weaker.
Exactly, and if I get to an endgame, then this pawn is gonna be weak, and that's a little advantage
Yeah.
for me. Of course, this is not like the end of the world yet, but it's something to take into account. And I have this
Mm.
ideal position to stop you from getting anything, literally. So this is
Yeah.
really cool. So rook c3, just increasing a little bit the pressure here. Now rook b1, and I believe that here maybe bishop b4 or something.
I
But
don't think this would be good, especially good for me.
exactly, but I don't know. It's just
But
to
I
stop me
think
from doing that.
maybe I could play this instead.
Queen b4, yeah, that seems nice too.
And because also knight c2 is undesirable because we're just going to rock back and forth because your knight always needs to get back to the square.
Yeah, and also there are some x-rays here, which might be
Uh-huh.
annoying. But I don't know,
So if
maybe
you
knight
play,
c2 maybe knight c2 is working, because if you go backwards, then I have b4, and then I can go back, but with my pawn on
no,
b4.
if you play b4 now, I think this controls both of these squares.
And then b5?
b5. I suppose I just have to go back.
But now you have a
And
square to go to, right? No,
but
but
maybe after this I could get like here.
kind of too slow. I guess you can go backwards and try to exploit this one. Because now the pawn is on b3, defending on c4. So,
I could, yeah.
yeah. Yes, you
I could
can
go here.
try to do so. Yeah, that's another way to play, I guess. But I don't know. I kind of want to stop myself from doing this, because it's getting hard to play against that.
Yeah.
So rook c8, bishop b5. The idea being that now I'm going to stop you from doing anything here on b4, and I want to play b4. So if I get to do so, that's cool. So you play a6, I play b4 for two reasons. First of all, I was thinking that I am trading pieces, and this bishop on e2 is probably doing nothing in comparison with like the knight if it goes to c4, and I wanted to trade pieces to get with this isolated pawn. So you were saying that, well, now I have to do something here, and you play knight c4, and I do believe it's okay, but now I am just getting into my ideal position.
Maybe I should have taken with the pawn here.
No, I don't think
that,
so. I don't think so.
Why?
I don't think you should have to take there, because I think you're maybe losing a pawn here.
How?
Like after queen d2, for example, it's getting hard to play. Like, no, but you have bishop takes b4. Also, rook d3. Wait a second. It's just that this looks unnatural on my mind.
It does look unnatural, but I don't know. Maybe I could connect up with b5, and this rook looks kind of trapped, but it does have an outpost square.
Yeah, maybe you should have done so. I can
Maybe
actually.
this could be a problem though if the rook ever gets there, and my rook might be trapped.
Exactly, I was just seeing that, just in that second that you said it, and yeah, that might be a little bit annoying for you. It's just that the rook there kind of seems like alone there. You do not want your rook to be alone, because then she gets depressed and then she kills herself. So that's the problem with rooks, you know. You have to love them and to have them in an ideal position. But I do believe that d takes c4. Maybe there should be a tactical refutation for this, but I had 13 seconds. So it is not so obvious yet, right? So I do believe that taking with the rook makes sense. And now here, I probably should have taken with my knight or with my rook. With my rook because I am getting more activity. With my knight because I am giving some x-rays here which are annoying and bringing my knight which is on f3 to d4. So I do believe that's better. So we take...
This could be a problem.
Yeah, now things are starting to look kinda weird for you. Queen a4, queen a2, and g5. G5 is a move that I didn't like for you because you know this g5 here is kind of debilitating your king, and that's not nice.
I don't see how you exploit that.
Yeah, but I mean, it is not like I'm going to exploit it now, but we are about to get into an endgame, and in the future that might be dangerous because we haven't traded the queens.
I think in an endgame this would be actually a useful move because I'm gaining space and my king can come forward.
I do believe that g5 is useful if you get to trade the queens, you know?
Yeah.
Because if the queens are still on the board, I do believe that there is still potential for it to be dangerous for you.
Well, you don't... I have loads of pieces on the king side and you really don't have many.
Yeah.
So, I really didn't think this was an exploitable weakness.
Right now, no. But in the future, it was kind of exploitable, you know? After a couple of mistakes here, like...
I don't know if you ever exploited it.
Like here in this position, wait a sec. Suddenly here your king is kind of open, you know. If you had your pawn on g7, then you could have gone to h7, for example.
I suppose. But this came about by a blunder anyway, and I shouldn't have allowed the
Exactly, but it's still adding up, you know. That's a problem in chess. Sometimes
because g5 just frees up both my bishop and my knight, and I think it's more important to have those pieces working than it is to have my king hypothetically maybe a little weaker.
That's cool. I do believe that it is a good way to think. It is not so important about the move itself, but I like the way that you're thinking about the position. You're thinking critically and you're saying, this is what I think, and this is what I did it. And that's cool. And of course we have like 30 seconds here, so we can't be hard on ourselves because I don't think that I could have expected this to be like a gigantic mistake or anything, or just... I will say that this is just like a little bit better for me because first of all my bishop here seems to be in a nice square, and also the g5 is kind of debilitating your position, but it's not giving me like an advantage.
I'll have a look at what the computer says. I'm not sure if that's especially useful. Wow, the computer actually suggests g5.
Oh, you see, now I was wrong. So the computer says g5 is cool. But let's see, maybe the computer is not saying that after bishop g3, bishop d6, I'm not quite sure. This move I didn't like for
you. I don't like this move either. We're just kind of trading an active bishop off. I should have played here maybe, because that's a really nice square for the
And now suddenly this makes sense, you know?
Yeah.
Under these circumstances, this makes a lot of sense. Like you're playing f5, this knight d4 is really annoying, and then suddenly you're getting into really dangerous position.
I did say that later, but it was kind of ineffective. Actually, now you have to play something like this because I'm threatening a fork.
Exactly, and also you have to be careful here. Try to trade some pieces. So, yeah, I do believe that if you play g5 with knight d4, you're kind of getting an advantage here, or at least a really nice position to play.
That, but I did play this first, which was a pretty bad move.
Yeah, but knight trading, right?
Here, black's slightly better, but after this, black's probably slightly worse.
Yeah, that's not cool. You don't want to do that. So bishop takes f6, h3, cool here, and now b6.
I'm not sure why you play h3.
Oh, because I wanted some space here, and I didn't want these g4s to be annoying. So I wanted this h3 to give a little bit of room here, just as you played h6 in the past. So I thought h3 just normal, and also because there is potential for you to have some ideas here. So
I played h6 because it came with tempo, and I don't think I'd have played it otherwise. But
no, but here this position, I do believe that this is annoying. Like this g4 might be annoying in the future, and also I am giving room to my king because in these positions where the rooks are in this real active situation, there are chances of getting into a position where my rooks have to move, and then you have certain makes here.
Yeah.
Not good for me. So, and I have 16 seconds, so I do not want to be constantly calculating these things. So now that you play knight d4, your knight is not so well because you do not have this bishop, and then you're trading pieces, and it's not so nice. So even though knight e4 seems like a good square to go to with your knight, and that's probably what I would have done, you are trading the bad bishop, the good bishop, and leaving your bad bishop on his head. So yeah, I do believe that in this position you should still be a little bit better, and the reason why is because you're too active, you know, and you have to get activity here. So b6, and you had knight c3, and you were winning the rook in this position apparently. Yeah. So yeah, this is what I told you. I here thought, oh fuck, I am kind of getting killed here. And also you had another chance to do so, or something similar in the future. Wait a second. After knight c3, knight b5, you said.
Yeah, and you're...
Oh, but I didn't see this one.
If I take, I will... Nice. And I...
Wow, this is really cool, dude. There are so many forks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can't do any of that. So
yeah, you can't do that.
It's a very good move.
Exactly. Rook b4 makes more sense in this position.
Yeah.
Because this knight b5 was really annoying. Didn't see that one coming, but wow. So rook b4, rook takes b4, queen takes b4, and now I have to do something, right? I have to try to attack this b7 pawn and force you to go backwards. So knight d6, now you're going backwards. That's kind of cool for me, and I have to do something about it, and I have to try to exploit it. So rook a1, trying to get a more active square for my rook, a better line for my rook. Queen b2, and here, dude, I don't know, rook c1.
Yeah.
Rook c1 is crushing me. Here's what I thought. You fucked me. I thought, whoa, I fucked things up here after I played queen a2. Dude, rook c1. They're writing something now. Didn't see rook e1. Rook c1 is killing me, dude. I thought this rook c1, and I was done.
Yeah.
Literally, like, I have nothing to do here. I can resign in this position. So, rook c1, extremely hard move, and I didn't see that one coming until I played queen a2. After I played queen a2, I thought, no, rook c1, and I'm done here. So, you didn't see that one coming, so queen takes b6, and I thought, well, just a pawn didn't die. So, rook b1, and now I have to try to play tricky, as you said, in the game. And now I'm activating my knights. Of course, I have my pawn down, so I have to do something about this. Winning some time on the clock, and here this rook c6 is horrible. This position, can you hear me? Hello?
Like this. Meant? Okay.
You meant to play rook c5. Now I can hear you a little bit better.
Yeah.
Okay, meant to play rook c5. Whoa, this rook c6, yeah, was killing you. So rook c5, better, but I still, I don't know about that rook c5. Maybe I have a check or something, and then I go to a7, like maybe this, and then I go here, or maybe I just can play rook b1.
Yeah.
I don't know, but in this position, this rook c6 is horrible. Rook c5 is better, but now this is just lost. There's no way to stop this position from falling apart. So after this, things are just falling apart. And now you can see why you shouldn't play g5. But no. Of course, evidently, you're right. g5 was the best move. So I'm just kidding here. But yeah, I do believe that this is like the night and the day, you know, in terms of how you're thinking about the position, because you're thinking about what I am doing, and you were saying that all the time. You're saying, this is what you want to do. I don't want you to do this because of this, and you're giving me logical explanations for the things that you're doing. That's really cool. That's amazing, dude. I do believe that's really cool. So, and that should give you more points in blitz, longer time controls. Of course, maybe not that much in like bullet or something, because bullet is more crazy, but bullet is better now too. Oh, that's really cool, you see? So that's basically what it is.
Some positional bullet.
Oh wow, excuse me, I'm playing some positional bullet, dude. I don't believe in anything. I'm the guy who's killing everybody in bullet. Now everybody's afraid of playing against me. I'm gonna change my name to Positional Bullet Player. Oh, that's really cool. So that's basically what it is.